Welcome to the Generation Kids Daily Devo podcast, where we move from wonder to worship, looking for God at work in the world around us, ready to ask the tough questions and discover what His Word has to say to us. Today's episode is titled, No Giant, Too Giant, and it comes from me, Casey Taylor. This week's Daily Devo theme is one that's important to us all. It's the force that keeps us going, the reason we work hard, and the cause for optimism that we all need to face each new day. We're talking about hope. Either we find it or feel it missing in almost everything we do.
I can't find it.
When we have it, we feel like we have a strong wind in our sail. When we don't, it can feel like we're sinking. This week, we're going to look at how our belief in God and the promises that He's made to us can offer us a lasting and absolutely necessary hope that goes beyond what our circumstances might tell us we should expect. Hope in God is more than wishful thinking. It can be the place from which our confidence grows. And confidence is a funny thing. How we feel about a situation can largely be determined by how confident we are when we enter into it. Think about it. You see a guy or a girl who seems really sure of themselves.
That's right.
That they're looking good, distinguished, well thought of. And how do those people typically enter a room? With a little swagger, aura oozing from their expressions, their clothes, their mannerisms, the whole package. Their confidence has shaped the way that they feel walking into situations that even others they know might not enter into the same way. Maybe I'm not as good looking as you. Maybe I don't have the same wealth as you. Maybe I'm not as highly thought of as you. Or maybe I'm just having an off day and I don't feel as good as I could walking into the same space as you do. In this regard, confidence is found in the circumstances and conditions that surround us, in what we bring to the table. When we feel good about what we bring, we feel confident. When we don't feel good about our circumstances, we will probably have less confidence. Sometimes our confidence is more in how things seem than in how they really are. And that's a dangerous place to be. When our confidence or our hope is in something outside of ourselves, we'd better be sure that that place that we found to place our hope in isn't sitting above shaky ground. A good example of this is the dog, who's got a loud and intimidating bark behind a really seemingly strong fence. It's easy to bark, loud and confidently, until the fence falls. How confident are you now? My dog is running for the hills, even though he sounds like he'd conquer 1,000 dogs by himself when he's on the safe side of the fence. This reminds me of a famous story in the Bible where a young King David heard about how the Philistines were approaching and ready to battle the Israelites. And if their army wasn't scary enough, they also had a literal giant, probably several feet taller than David, and much stronger. You see, David was just a young guy, and the much taller, stronger, and more successful giant soldier named Goliath was taunting David and telling him that he was going to feed his body to the birds. And that's where we get to see where David's hope rested.
You come to me with a sword and a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand. 1 Samuel 17, verse 45.
Goliath and the Philistine army were all banking on the size and strength of the giant, along with the army to beat and conquer the Israelites, who had no giants. But as David told Goliath, he had a God, and not just any God, the one true God. The Philistines' confidence and hope were in their size, Goliath's magnificence, and in their weapons. But little man David, his hope was in the God who led hosts of angels, and who would lead the Israelites, even as seemingly overmatched as they were, to certain victory. David knew the power, strength, and absolute control that God had over everything and everyone. Even though he'd eventually strike Goliath dead with a slingshot of all things, he knew it wouldn't be he or the Israelite army that brought themselves to victory. It would be the favor and strength of God. He wasn't fooled by the size or renown of the opposition, and he wasn't fooled about his own size and ability either. He saw himself and his God for exactly who they were. God, the all-powerful king and warrior, he, a lowly shepherd, whose fight would be won not by his hands, but by that all-powerful king. So even when David's slingshotted rock struck down the mighty giant Goliath, David knew who really slayed that giant. It was his God. It was your God, too. The same God who had David's back has your back and wants you to have confidence and hope. Not in what you bring, but in who brings you. Not in your ability, but in God's ability to use you. This is how we're able to be humble and yet confident at the same time. This is how we're able to have hope. God is in control. And when we're following Him and seeking to do His work, there is nothing that can stop His victory. So hold on to hope. No problem, obstacle, or giant is too giant for God. Now it's time for
Today's Big Question!
Today's big question is there a quote-unquote giant in your life right now? Is there something that seems too big for you to overcome? Maybe it's your schoolwork. Maybe it's a relationship that's in a tough place. Maybe it's a loss that you've recently faced. Whatever it is, remind yourself that nothing you face is too big for God. And be reminded that it won't be you that overcomes it. Your strength is found in your weakness, because it's in your weakness that God's strength is on display. Thanks for listening to the Generation Kids Daily Devo podcast. If you want to keep in touch with us on all our social media platforms, check out the links in the description. And if you'd like to help support us as we continue to create meaningful content for kids of all generations, please subscribe to our Patreon by visiting us at patreon.com/wearegenerationkids.